Good morning guys, and welcome to part 2 of this Poland exploration series. Yesterday I had some very good sleep tonight and I am now very energetic and very happy and ready to continue the exploration. Today we will go to the city of Torun via train. It will take us approximately 2 hours, and I am now slowly approaching the Warsaw train station. Let me get to there in a few minutes and I will also show it to you. Here is how their main train station in Warsaw looks from outside. It looks pretty impressive. And one thing that I noticed and I'm very happy with is that Poland seems to be a very safe country. It has the reputation to be one of the safest in Europe, if not the safest. And yesterday when I was walking around the city center, I didn't see a single homeless person or hustlers or anything like that, which is pretty unexpected. As you can see even here at the train station, which is usually main point where such people attract, there is nothing. Everything is clean, everything looks great. So for now Poland really looks pretty good. Here is how the platforms and the train themselves looks. As you can see, everything is indeed very clean, very beautiful, and also there is a lot of police here. That's why I couldn't show you the main hall, because there was really a lot of them and I wasn't sure if it is allowed to shoot videos there. So let me wait for my train and I will also show you how it looks. This is how the train looks. It is pretty big, so I need to find wagon number 7 where my ticket is. This is the first class, so I suppose that the second is in the front. Let me figure it out. Well, even the second class looks pretty good. Very clean and very comfortable. And this ticket costs just around 17 euro for 2 hours trip, which I find pretty good. See you in Torun. Well guys, I just arrived at the city of Torun, and outside the train station there is this very interesting and beautiful old locomotive, some kind of monument obviously. Well, now I should find a way to get to the other side of the river, and in the old city I will start explaining you more about the history of this place and why I'm here. Well guys, I just crossed the Vistula river via this very big bridge, and now while I'm walking towards the center and the old town, I just want to give you some information about the city which I'm visiting. The most famous citizen of this city is Nicolaus Copernicus. He was a medieval scientist which was born here on 19th of February 1473, and after that he studied in different universities across Poland and Italy, including in Krakow, in Bologna, in Padua, in Ferrara. And well, the thing with which he is most famous is that he created his book, which is called, let me check what exactly was the name, On the Revolutions of the Celestial Spheres. And he was the first person in the medieval times that supposed that the center of the world is the sun and not the earth. Of course, now we know that the sun is not also the center of the world, but at that time what we now consider the solar system was the whole world. So he created his book in 1543, just before he died, and with this he started the modern revolution in the science, which put the sun in the center of the solar system, just like we know it today. In fact, it is interesting that this thing was not very it was very courageous from his side, because at that time the theory that put the earth in the center of the world was supported by the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church had immense power at that times. So he risked quite a lot by publishing such book. But at that time the Catholic Church didn't reply immediately to this. Only around 70 years later, when Galileo Galilei also expressed similar visions, they started to prosecute the people who think this way. So this is the hometown of Copernicus. I will also show you some other things related to him here. But before that, let me give you also some information about the city itself. At the time of Copernicus, this city was part of the Kingdom of Prussia, which was semi-autonomous region, which was at their side controlled by the Polish kingdom after the wars with the Teutonic Order. We will also see some interesting places related to the Teutonic Order in a bit. And here is one of the entrances to the old city. The good thing is that this city of Torun, or Torn as it was known back in the medieval ages, was not heavily destroyed in any of the subsequent wars in the region, which means that the things which you see here are authentic. Of course, they had some maintenance during the years, but they were not entirely rebuilt, unlike Warsaw, which we saw yesterday. So let me, guys, find some interesting places and show this to you. So our first target will be to show you the different gates to the city. This one, which I used a minute ago, is called Brama Klasztorna. Brama Klasztorna. Brama means gate in Polish. And we will also see another two which are very famous and which we will reach in a bit. This is how the wall looks from the inside. As you can see, it is pretty well preserved. Of course, there are some signs of restoration, but keep in mind that all this was built mostly in the 1400s, so it is now 600 years old, and it looks pretty good for such an old structure. This is another gate, which is known as Brama Żeglarska, and it goes towards the Vistula river. But there is one more famous, which we are gonna reach in several minutes. Here you can see the place where the old bridge over the Vistula river was located. This bridge, which is now not existing anymore, was built around 1500, from 1495 to 1500, and was entirely made of wood. At that time, it was only till the 16th century, it was only the second bridge over the Vistula river. The other one was at Kraków. You can see that many people are placing here some logs as a sign of their love. And in the distance you can also see the Brama Mostova, or the gate at the bridge. You now understand why it was called like that, because here was the bridge towards the other side of the river. And this structure was initially erected in the year 1432, but after that it was repaired many times, and different people that controlled the city made changes of it. I just need to cross and I will show it to you. So here it is. In fact, it is very beautiful, and there is a tower near it. Here is also some information. I suppose that this is the different height of the gate that changed during the years. So these are the external medieval fortifications of the city. Now we need to find some other historical places nearby. Let me get there. So guys, here you can see the remnants of the Teutonic Order castle in Torun. This castle was built, the build started around the middle of 13th century, and it took approximately 100 years to be finished. As you can see, there is not so much left from it, because in the year 1454 there was a rebellion here, and the local people demolished the castle because they were afraid that if they don't do that, the knights from the Teutonic Order will come back and will reconquer the land. So they decided to try to damage it as heavy as possible. Here are some, I should be careful with this size. Here are some leftovers from the old wall. As you can see, there are now some restoration works going on, so that it looks better for the tourists. And the Teutonic Order had quite a role in this region. Tomorrow I will go to Malbec, which is another city in the region, and the castle there is much bigger than this one and much better preserved. Here you can see some medieval fortifications and also attack weapons, which are very well reconstructed. Of course, this is modern, this is not reconstructed in fact, but it is well made. For the Teutonic Order knights, the castles were very important. These were their bases where most of their soldiers resided, and which were used to control the region where they were built. The Polish country had quite a few wars with them during the medieval ages, and finally they prevailed and they controlled this region and added it to their possessions. Here again you can see you have some old walls, but they are very low in height, no more than a meter and a half, and after that the other is much more modern. Anyway, it is still a beautiful sight to see such a medieval castle. You also have a view towards the Vistula river, and here we also have some other medieval weapons. Let's see what exactly these are. Meanwhile, I can tell you that the ticket price here is just €5, which I find quite an affordable price. Here this is a siege hook, and here we have some kind of stone throwing weapon. They did quite a good job of restoring this, so that people can see. And here we have more such weapons. This is Torun, which was used to break through the gates of a castle when you are trying to conquer it. And let's see also what we have inside. It is very slippery here, so if you come like me in the winter, you should be careful. Overall, this place looks impressive. I can only imagine how it looked during the medieval ages when it was in full glory and functioning. But even now, the remains of it are still pretty impressive. Maybe we can even enter here and see what was below. It's a little bit dark, but I hope that the camera will do the magic and you will be able to see. Ooh, this is really impressive. I really like such places, guys. Look at that. This is very interesting place, and they did quite a good job to make it look pretty good for the tourists. This is what the device is. Crossbows on wheel. Yeah, obviously this was used as some kind of artillery back then. This seems to be some kind of dungeon, I think. Well guys, I think that we saw the most interesting part of this castle. I'm really happy that I came and that it is open today. So let me to the old town center and I'll continue from there. Well guys, in front of me you can see one of the iconic landmarks of Torun, which is called the Leaning Tower. It is quite easy to see why it is called like that. This tower was built in the 13th century and it was not leaning when it was built. just like the Tower of Pisa in Italy. The ground below it proved to be unstable and the tower started to lean, but it was used as a defensive structure till 18th century, and after that it was used for many different purposes, including a blacksmith shop and even a woman's prison. Today, unfortunately, the tower is closed because they are doing some works and we can't enter inside. But if you come at another date, the ticket is just 20 zloty, which is around approximately €5, so it is quite affordable. Now I will go to the old town center and see what else we can see there. By the way, guys, this is the house where Nicolaus Copernicus lived. As you can see, it is serious tourist attraction. Here you can read some information in Polish, which I don't understand. And of course it is possible to enter inside, because this house is now a museum. But you know me, I am not into museums, so I will try to show you instead the central square of the old town, which I will reach in a bit. Well, guys, this is how the central square looks currently. Obviously, people here are demolishing the temporary structures that were used for the New Year celebrations. The big and very beautiful old building that you see here is the Regional Museum of Torun. I will show it from outside, and maybe if there is internal court I will show you. And here in the distance you can see the local library. Both are very impressive old buildings. Maybe it is a good idea also to find a place where I can eat something, because it is already passing 12. So let me enjoy the view of these very beautiful old buildings in front of us, and I will see what else I can show you. Here we have a statue of Pope John Paul II. As you know, he was Polish and they respect him very much here. And what you see here is the St. John's Cathedral, which is very impressive and very big cathedral, built in the 13th century with the typical Gothic medieval architecture. You can see how big are the walls and the windows. Let me also try to see if I can get inside and show you the interior. I'm not sure if it will be allowed, but let's see. Well, guys, as you saw, the cathedral is very impressive from the inside. I couldn't talk there because after all it is a holy place and I respect this. But yeah, it is really impressive example of Gothic medieval architecture, both from inside and from outside. Let's see what interesting else we have here. Here we have a very interesting statue which is called the Spanish donkey. This statue resembles one previous instrument which were used to punish soldiers who didn't fulfill their duties properly. The original was wooden and only this sharp part was metal, and the soldiers were put there to sit for hours because it was very inconvenient, and this way they fulfilled their punishment. And here we have, as expected, a monument of Nicolaus Copernicus. What you see in front of me is the Saint Mary Church. It was built in the 14th century and at that time was the highest, has the highest tower in Central Europe. But unfortunately it is closed today, so I can't show you more than that. Here we have a very beautiful statue of little doggy, and via the streets of the old town I will slowly start going toward the new town, where we also have some objects to see. I will let you just enjoy this beautiful medieval architecture. Well guys, this is the so-called New Town Square. This is a new church, which is not too interesting. But what you see in front of me is the tower of Saint Jacob's Church, which is another very famous Gothic church from 14th century here in Torun. It looks really impressive from the outside. Let's see if I will be able to also get inside. But yeah, this Gothic architecture is definitely interesting. Well guys, unfortunately it was closed, so I can't enter inside, but here is how the church looks from all sides. And with that, I think that I have covered the cultural objects here in Torun, at least what is possible for such a stay visit. So now it is about the time to find something to eat. Well guys, unfortunately it was closed, so I can't enter inside, but here is how the church looks from all sides. And with that, I think that I have covered the cultural objects here in Torun, at least what is possible for such a stay visit. So now it is about the time to find something to eat. So guys, I just entered the first restaurant that I saw, and it turned out to be a Georgian restaurant, Srce Gruzi. So let's see exactly what I will get. So guys, here is what I got. This beer is called Tokochin, and it is normal lager, nothing interesting. This thing is called Lula Kebab, and in fact inside this Arabic looking bread there is some meat. It looks pretty interesting. I will see how it tastes. So guys, let me enjoy my meal. After that I will get back to Warsaw, and in the evening I will again visit the old town and Same Crafty for some more craft beer experience. See you later. Well guys, just a few hours later I am back in Warsaw and I want to show you some beautiful places from the night Warsaw. The beautiful building that you are seeing here is their National Theatre and Opera. You can see how massive and how beautiful it is. Really impressive. And now I am slowly going back to the old town where I was yesterday to show you how it looked during the evening, and also of course to have some craft beer exploration, which I couldn't finish yesterday. So guys, I'm continuing towards the old city. So guys, here we are at the beginning of the old town. This is the Sigismund statue that I showed you earlier, the old royal palace, the Christmas tree. As you can see, during the evening it is, I may say, even more beautiful than it was during the day. Now we will also go quickly through the Christmas market so that you can see it during the evening. After that, through the square, and we will reach the Same Crafty bar in which we were yesterday, but everything one step at a time. This looks really beautiful, by the way, and I think that this Christmas market will be here only for a few more days. I think till January 6th, and after that it will be removed. But it is good that I'm here whilst it is still operating. There are really a lot of people, even more than yesterday during the day, which is pretty much expected considering that it is now Friday evening and we are around 6 p.m. approximately. So it is the right time when people get out from work and come to party. Generally, this is the vibe of the Christmas market. Let me get also to the old town center. This is the central square of the old city where we were yesterday. As you can see, it is also more beautiful during the evening with all these lights. I really like Central Europe, guys. It is a very colorful combination between Eastern European vibes, like the people in Central Europe think almost the same like us, the Eastern Europeans, but enriched with some Western European related culture and history, which makes it really, really interesting and very, very white, very, very beautiful blend. I really like this, and I think that this here is used for some winter sports. At least looks so, but currently there are no people inside. So let's slowly get towards the Same Crafty bar. But before entering inside it, I will also show you the Barbican that we saw yesterday. I suppose that it will also be very well lit and very beautiful. And here we have the Barbican. It is also very well lit and very good looking. So guys, the bar from yesterday is full, there is no place, so I'm coming here, which is also quite full, but I managed to find one small table, so let's taste what they have. Well guys, I managed to squeeze in this very small table here, but I need some good beer. Let's taste it. This is called the, let me check exactly the name, Turni z Gzubem Smoked Plum Smoked Porter, 7.2%. Let's check it. Well, this is a strange beast. It has some bitterness and some sweetness, which are typical for the porter. You can feel the alcohol, but overall it has some bitter aftertaste, which I am not exactly sure that has the place in this style. Anyway, it is okay, but it is not the best porter that I have drank. Let's finish it, and I will order some other things. So guys, this is the second beer that I am tasting. It is called Coffee Licious Special, and it is by the Podzemie Brewery. It is a chocolate, vanilla and coffee milk stout, 6.3%. Let's check it. Well, this one is great. You can't feel the alcohol, it is so well balanced. You can feel the milky taste and also the chocolate and a little bit of the coffee. It's not too bitter, there is some bitterness. Overall, perfectly balanced. This one is great. Well guys, this is the third beer that I am tasting, and it is the Tetrophobia Hazy Rye IPA. It is very interesting thing by the Monsters Brewery. Let's see what we have. It is 6.5%, but it has great balance. Fruitiness on the high side, haziness on the high side, bitterness almost non-present. Very well, very good balance with the alcohol. This one I really like. Well guys, this is the last one that I'm gonna have, and I will take it for takeaway till I get to my home, my accommodation here. But here is the West Coast Hustle West Coast IPA, 6.5% by the Underground Brewery or Pivje Podzemie. Let's see what we have. Well, it is definitely a West Coast, but it is on the bitter side. The bitterness here is very pronounced. It is partially balanced by the alcohol, but it is still the overwhelming taste here. It's not the type of beers that I like, but I like to experiment, so this is still good. Okay guys, I will see you tomorrow with the third part of this video, because I need to get up around 7:30 a.m. To get to the city of Malbork. So stay tuned and have a good night.